question.
Well, I just didn't know if anybody had made a comment out in the chat room that you wanted to ask before I keep going.
No, you can go. No, everybody's listening.
So nobody's raising their hands, not just yet.
Not yet.
Okay. Well, let me tell you this. There's a reason why, and, you know, most people weren't even aware that this was going on until Michael Jackson died. People are not aware that they're doing this to everybody, but remember there was a big to-do about how they took Michael Jackson's brain and were holding on to his brain. The fact is, when it comes to melanin-rich people, they're taking all our brains as we're dying. One, they need the pituitary gland. Now, the pituitary gland is what secretes human growth hormone. And human growth hormone is all about your youth. Human growth hormone is secreted for the maintaining of youth and longevity. It's all about enhancing performance. It is an anti-aging, anti-wrinkle, sexual vitality enhancer. And it is generated naturally by the pituitary gland during the first hours of sleep and after exercise. But they started creating, or so they say, they claim they started creating lab-created human growth hormone, but what they didn't let out was the only way they could come up with it was by taking pituitary glands out of dead cadaver corpses. Now, who do they always say has the most beautiful skin? Who do they say ages so well? Melanin-rich skin is supposed to wrinkle less than paler skin and supposed to maintain its youthful elasticity and youthful appearance well beyond other people's complexion. So whose human growth hormone would you want? Whatever has been established as the superior stock, that's what you want. You understand? Now, at some point they claimed that they stopped extracting human growth hormone from dead cadavers because of the CJD, or mad cow disease, that it was causing in the people that were taking these human growth hormone injections from these dead cadavers. However, after their so-called mastery of genetic manipulation, so they say, where they could actually create, what's the word I'm looking for lack of a better word, manufactured human growth hormones, they've determined that 100% natural human growth hormone is still superior to synthetic, that's the word I'm looking for, to synthetic human growth hormone. So now they're getting back into the whole human growth hormone taken from pituitary glands. Well, one of the things that the human growth hormone does, it also helps secrete melanin. Now, the pineal secretes the melatonin, which causes the secretion of melanin. Now, melanin is a mood enhancer. It helps keep people level and calm and content and serene, amongst many other things that it does. That is one of the reasons why, although melanin-rich people catch hell all over the globe, for the most part, we're still a relatively laid-back, calm, and contented type of people, because melanin is one of the most superior anti-stress, antidepressants on the globe. So what they found out is that a lot of athletes have started taking human growth hormone because it increases muscle size, it increases muscle strength, and it's a performance enhancer. And I guess that's another word for, what is the stuff that a lot of these athletes are accused of using when they say, you know,
steroids. Is it steroids?
What is it called? Steroids. I'm starting to wonder if steroids is some buzzword for human growth hormone acquired from cadavers. You see what I'm saying? So when it comes to a melanin-rich brain, they can get the human growth hormone from the pituitary gland and the melatonin and melanin from the pineal. Because there's a thing out now called melanotan. Everybody write this down. It's spelled M-E-L-A-N-O-T-A-N, melanotan, but it's pronounced melanotan. It's also called liquid sun and some other things like this. Now, it has not yet been approved by the FDA. It is currently still under experimentation, and it is being tested and trialed on Europeans in New Zealand, Australia, and Arizona. That is where they are testing melanotan. Now, it is being sold in the UK. You can buy it, you can order it online, and it has to be injected via a needle into your abdominal region. Now, they say that this is synthetic melanin, and I submit to you that they are freaking lying. One, melanin is such a chaotic thing that they have already acknowledged that they're not even sure what the composition of melanin is. They acknowledge that they know what is in melanin. You know, melanin contains this, it contains that, it contains this. But they have not been able to determine what percentage of this or that or the other is in melanin. You understand? So if you haven't even been able to narrow down just what the chemical composition of melanin is, how in the heck are you able to create it synthetically? And if you have been able to manufacture it some kind of way, I submit to you that they're utilizing real melanin to make synthetic melanin. And where are they getting all this real melanin from? Things like the Katrina thing, where they allowed people deliberately to die, where they outright, Blackwater outright murdered people, and a congresswoman let that out, that melanin-rich young males in New Orleans were being murdered execution style during the Katrina event after the blowing of the levees. Okay? Now, that is also probably what's going on in Haiti, probably what's going on in many places in Africa where they're letting people starve. And I'm going to go back to what I said earlier about how they keep saying that we're cannibals. We're not cannibals because, honestly, you know how they show these care commercials and please feed the homeless and feed the hungry, and they show you these starving people in Africa with these distended bellies and flies landing all over the starving mother and the starving children. If we were animals, there'd be no starving children with their starving mothers, because they would be eating the children, because that's what Europeans did. When they start starving, they start eating the people and the children. That's them by nature. Let yourself get locked up somewhere on some shipwreck. You take some kind of cruise and you get shipwrecked on some island, or go hiking somewhere in the snow at some high elevation and get stranded somewhere with Europeans, and see how fast they start looking at you like your Thanksgiving dinner, which is one of the places that Thanksgiving came from, the carving of the Turks or melanin-rich people that they were carving and eating over there in Spain in the public square. So I'm saying this to say, melanin-rich people cannot be the cannibals that you say we are, because if we were, you would not have these starving children laying there with their starving parents. There'd be none. However, I digress. Now, what I want my people to comprehend is there is no, I can't even think of what it is. Let me just go back. When they say that our people are cannibals, that's a misnomer, that's an untruth. There was no reason why we had to be. If you did, in fact, encounter melanin-rich people that were into cannibalism, I submit to you, and I'm willing to swear on my dead mother. And I probably shouldn't go there, but I am willing to swear on dead relatives that if you found melanin-rich people that were into cannibalism, those individuals had practiced inbreeding and incest too long, to the point that they had snapped and lost their sanity also, which is who is currently misruling the world now. A bunch of inbred, incested out people that have lost their color and lost their minds. And they don't care about anybody. They don't care about anybody. What we need to understand is every big to-do organization that has any level of status is all about acquiring what they can from us and keeping us down. And that includes your Greek sororities and fraternities, Harvard, Yale, MIT, the Smithsonian Institute, Rhodes and the Rhodes Scholars, the Rockefeller Foundation, abortion clinics, Loyola Marymount, all of these people and these inbred Nazis of the so-called would-be elite that have no sanity left are all about keeping melanin-rich people down because they're jealous about what they lost and did not want to go through the necessary steps of getting back.
Now, there is a question in the chat room. Someone wants to know, is there a connection between eugenics and what you are talking about? And are they, let's see if I can find, and they want to know, are they creating, is there a selective breeding program going on?
I don't know about the selective breeding program. I will say this. These people are, because when it comes to human growth hormone and things like that, those are produced more in youth than they are in adults, which is one of the reasons why so many young brothers are murdered in the street and why so many young children are confiscated right out of the hospital and put into so-called foster care institutions and put up for adoption and what have you. Now, eugenics, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. EU means good. EUR means pale, so don't get it twisted, okay? EU means good or well, and EUR means pale. So eugenics is another way of saying good genes, and let the European tell it their genes are good genes, but they know their genes are not good genes. That's why they keep coming after our genes. That's why they keep doing so many tests on our people. But they will actually invoke a test or trial right over Europeans also because they don't care about Europeans that are not a part of the inbred in crowd of would-be so-called elites. If you are not a part of their in crowd, you may as well be, for lack of better words, what is called black to them, because you don't matter to them. What they were able to do with people like you is they were able to keep you inflamed and incited about melanin-rich people and have you always looking at melanin-rich people and watching them and keeping your foot on their neck so that you would not see what they were doing. It's like legerdemain or a magician's sleight of hand. Look over here at the right hand that I'm waving in front of you all the time, and the right hand may as well be melanin-rich so-called Negro, black, colored people who they're always waving in front of you all the time. And while you're looking over at them, you don't see what the left hand is doing over here. And over here, the left hand was doing like I've told people. These people have long vengeance memories, and they don't get over stuff. They never got over the Europeans that were dropped here in penal colonies for being criminal by nature, who had the nerves, many of them, to run off the colony and start hanging out with the melanin-rich people that were found here that are today called African Americans, that actually helped liberate them from under the thumb and yoke of these inbreds that were misruling over them, like King Henry's daughter, Bloody Mary, for example, and the Roman Catholic Church, that if you don't agree with what we're talking about, now this is Europe, has nothing to do with us, albeit they swear them down, we're their problem. You're in Europe. These inbred would-be elites are telling you how to look, how to dress, how to act, what you can read, can't read, what you can do, can't do, and a lot of this is going on even with Hamas people over in Israel, you know, they're being dictated